Well, well, ow. Well, I didn't expect to go live. I was contemplating if I was going to go live or not, but it's been a while since I have even done this for a while. Like I told you guys before, it's busy. So welcome to the world's famous billions watched here on TikTok, here on Spotify. I welcome you in. My name is Joe Lobo. Hope you are having a great and wonderful day. Yes, I know I haven't been here for a while, and there's a lot of reasonings to it, man. Your boy's busy. That is the main thing. So just bear with me. I'm gonna send this out to some people, just to some people in the circle who want to come in and vibe with me. But for the most part, hope you guys enjoy it. Give me a second. Let me make sure I share this to my story so people know I'm live. So I welcome in. Chinga, welcome in. How are you doing? Well, first things first, I would appreciate Mommy Shar's here. How are you, Mommy Shar? How are you? Thank you, Mommy Shar, for the heart me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, the past few days, my life has been pretty damn busy. But I wanted to make sure I could come in here and say hi. How's everyone doing? At least put something down if you choose to. So, hope you guys are doing well. Oh, it disappeared. Oh no. Goodness gracious. Wait. 1 second. Heart me, please. All right, let's do this again. Good? Okay, cool. I've been good, Mommy Shar. It's just been busy. Life has been busy. Like I told you guys from the last time, like I think lives or podcasts. Yeah, a little bit MIA. It's just life has been busy because, like, you know, for example, here in the Philippines, it was like it's usually my brother would take care of all the caregiving stuff, or you know, all the stuff from my parents directly, and that would be more the, I guess you can say, more administrative. Well, my brother's is in the United States because we're, you know, there's some tasks we have to do. Like one of the main things was to clear our storage, so we did that, and then also tell him just handling all the stuff here. So it is a challenge to do stuff. I mean, just given, you know, what's been happening lately with, like, you know, for example, my you know, with life, adult life, the things you have to deal with. I mean, especially like, you know, like with when you're observing and caregiving for your parents in a sense. Well, not really, because we do have a brand new caregiver that's been training, and she officially is on her own Monday. And then, you know, just given the light of like the many things that has happened previously, it's been busy. So like, you know, I try to do my best stuff. Like, you know, for example, how old are my parents? My parents are in their late 70s. So my dad is 78, my mom is 77. So basically, you know, some current events have happened where just like, you know, I have to make sure I pay attention to that. So given that, and given all the other responsibility, and also to making sure I stay on top of, like, you know, their scheduled appointments, it gets kind of harder to do podcasts for this month, I'll be honest, because of the fact that it's only a one-man show. Granted, again, it's not just, again, we do have a caregiver themselves taking care of my parents directly, and then there's a person who does, you know, the helping also, but it's all the other stuff have to take care and take responsibility, pay attention to too as well. Like, you know, we just started a new caregiver, and then basically, what was that? I had to make sure she's good, because, like, you know, my niece, who was the caregiver for the meantime, her contract ended yesterday. So, you know, the transition and all that stuff, and then, you know, it's just like my mom has been going through some stuff as well, so I had to, yes, very busy. That's probably why, Shar, you pulled up a strength card for me. So given that, I even was thinking about, I wasn't even sure if I was going to go live today, but like, I wanted to put something out because, like, yesterday I was supposed to go live, and then, you know, some things happened where, like, for the most part, it wasn't possible. so so yeah, just bear with me. I mean, there's a couple things. Shar, thank you so much for the welcome, Seal. I appreciate you. But just bear with me when we go through this whole month. I think I'm pretty much gonna be doing this part. Mommy Shar, thank you for the the hand heart. I appreciate you. It's pretty much gonna be me for the most part. Like, paying utmost attention to my parents while my brother is taking care of Hazi. We have tasks over there. We cleared out our storage, so we no longer have a storage anymore. He's been doing a lot of the work of like, okay, donating stuff that we can't bring here, and then also too bringing boxes over here as well. I mean, granted, it's a Filipino house, so I can't even imagine like how we're gonna fit anything here. But I mean, if there are some stuff I want to bring, and it kind of ties into the future of this whole thing. What is my plan in the future? In the meantime, what do I want to do with this? It involves Mommy Shar. What the heck? Paper crane and all this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Like involves like, what am I gonna do going forward? So like one thing I shared this today was basically was the big thing with music. So this music right now you're listening to is I've paid a subscription from Upbeat. And what if you're curious what Upbeat is, and like, I welcome again, and I want to make sure that I also introduce myself to the folks who are on Spotify and also on Apple Podcasts as well, listening to me. Thinking about like, where do I go from here? And there's also too, I've noticed Mommy Shar, the title gifter, and she sent me what the heck, the hearts, chumies. Thank you so much, Shar. Wow. Yes, we've been going through a lot, but I mean, like, you probably noticed if you, for example, let's say, for example, you're following the Spotify page, and then you're also subscribed to the Apple Podcast page. You're probably asking me like, Joe, why is there's, for example, I try to, I'm often misunderstood too. So Daddy, so like, welcome in, brother. How are you? I try to be. And just like, sometimes I can be, and I told people that this, like, there's no, for me, and I'm very straight to the point. And sometimes it gets taken wrong, where people think I'm just like, being sarcastic, but that's not my deal. I don't like the fluff. So that's part of my gig. And sometimes I have to deal with that stuff. But anyway, let me talk about this. So you're probably asking me just like, Joe, why do I see like this podcast here and this podcast not on Spotify? Well, I can tell you why. Spotify has been sending me notifications and pulling stuff down, or asking me to pull stuff down, because of the fact of the song I'm using, the music I'm using is copyright. So that's one of the challenges here as a podcast. And sometimes like I've thought about it. It's like, Mommy Saram, welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you for the harmony. I appreciate you. Like, usually when I podcast, I have background music, right? So what would happen is these podcasts, and also too, if you've been following me because of like my singing, for example, there's reasons why I don't put singing on Spotify anymore. It's because of the fact of the copyright. So it's been an issue with that, and there's about 3 files. There's even a podcast I did with Chad. So if you don't know who Chad is, basically Chad is another person I met mutually from, like Tony. If you know who Tony is, he does a podcast as well, and then we ended up doing a collab one time. It was a great collab. I liked it. I posted it. I told him I was gonna do it, and then what ended up happening is I got a notification from Spotify saying, "Hey, this podcast has copyright music." I'm just like, can't do anything. And then I tried my best to like rewrite the file, tried to strip the music so I can just at least keep like the content there and take out the music. I don't have the resources here right now, currently, to do that. Even though there was it's funny because there is a 4-hour, there's a 4-hour podcast or singing podcast that's still available on Spotify. You can listen to right now. It's called the Not So Authentic podcast. So if you ever wanted to listen to that, it is available there. But for the most part, anything else that includes, for example, even I tried to be, I'm gonna be honest, I tried to be fucking slick. We're just like, okay, let me put it down, and then let's see if Spotify takes it. I get flags from Spotify. And then one of the recent things what happened now is like Spotify will take individual songs. However, they would say, hey, this particular song is not available for these countries. So basically, you cannot play this. We cannot play your podcast in the following countries: United States or Japan. So basically from there, anyone else, the Philippines can listen to my podcast, but like, for example, if Mommy Shark wanted to listen to a specific podcast, it's probably not going to show up there. So that was one of the issues I was worried about, where like, for example, I'm going to run a risk where playing this type of music, I'm going to run the risk of my stuff's going to be taken down. This is the reason why I went to play more, if you know earlier parts, I used to play a lot of copyright music, and I led to the position where I'm playing lo-fi hip hop. I even asked like ChatGPT, like, how can I make this work? Blah, 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 where essentially, I don't get caught with the copyright. So, basically this is why I played copyright music. And some other person that passed me as well. Oh, play more lo-fi hip hop for the sake of TikTok, TikTok. And even though like I've heard things about, oh, TikTok is very strict with music, blah, blah, blah. Mommy Shark, congratulations. You are a level 18 in my life. Appreciate you. I heard the stuff like, oh, be careful with stuff in TikTok, playing music in TikTok. It never happened. And it's funny too, because like they put me in this program where they want me to play music. So whatever. Now that was what's happening on Spotify. Now moving to the future forward, there is a unique opportunity I'm thinking about to do on Apple Podcasts. It's going to probably lead to doing something exclusive on Apple Podcast. However, I have to fix a music issue, because dealing with, and it's crazy too, and I have to tell you about like what's been happening with Apple Podcasts, what I can see. And then you may think the numbers are small, but however, like I'm almost at 200 views for, I think, I've only been on Apple Podcasts for maybe 3 weeks. 200 views is a lot. Even my last podcast that I did, which is, I think, what was it? I think it was last week's podcast. That is almost at 100 views itself. I don't know how. I don't know where these people are coming in, but basically, it's telling me things where just like, okay, well, you probably want to dig into Apple Podcasts. We'll see what happens. And this is where, for example, I've been telling Mama Shire about this, just like, like, and I asked her questions about her cards, or asked her questions like her cards, and then asked, is this a thing? And it looks like it is now. I let it forward enough where I'm at a point where I have the agreement in my hands to look at, okay, let's go ahead and make a partnership agreement with Apple Podcasts. And I came to think about the music I'm playing. Now, because of that, I mean, it's a regular agreement, Char, but I mean, just like, it enables me to basically get subscriptions. And the craziness, the split is actually really good. Now there's certain things I need to do myself, where, for example, like, I have to be very consistent on what I put there specifically. So what I'm thinking about is maybe do like an hour series, a podcast just specifically for Apple Podcasts, and then everything else is just going to be like this stuff, but just to entice people who want to subscribe to me over on Apple Podcasts. That's what I'm planning to do. However, this is where I ran into the issue where, like, okay, if I sign this agreement and then I'm doing the same thing in the sense where, like, I'm playing the same music, where I'm getting flagged from Spotify. So, like, right now, I upload into Spotify, and then basically via RSS feed, it gets loaded to Apple Podcasts. So as soon as I load it into Spotify, it'll get picked up by Apple Podcasts through RSS, and then you see it on Apple Podcasts. Now, if I go to this route, which I'm planning to do, I asked ChatGPT just to decipher what the contract meant for Apple Podcasts. It's just a regular agreement. It just tells you what you can and can't do. But the biggest thing that came out is like, okay, well, if you play copyright music, you're fucking yourself. That's what it pretty much is saying. So given that situation where, yes, I didn't sign the agreement because I didn't want to run into an issue where like, fucking I fucking post content And then all of a sudden, Riv, welcome in. Long time no see. I haven't seen your fit. Hope you're doing well. I post content exclusive for TikTok and I find out that, oh shit, I'm getting flagged by Apple Podcasts saying you're playing copyright music. So anyway, that is the reasoning behind, trying to find a solution to what type of music I play. Again, I can do a podcast. Hold on one second. Okay. I can do a podcast with no music, but it would just feel, for me, in my opinion, it just feels weird. Like, in a sense, it's because of the fact that, it's not essentially me feeling weird, but just like usually my whole podcast has always been in a situation where like, I have something playing in the background. So I could do it quiet. I can do it with no sound, but just given the situation where just like, I don't know, some people can just hear me talk and it's fine for me. I can just talk and I don't have any issues whatsoever where, I have a flash goal. So I do a flash goal. If I can get 3 individual gifters to send me one rose, I will absolutely appreciate you tons if you do that for me. Thank you so much for sending me a rose. It's up for 15 minutes, but anyway, like that situation. Let's say if I sign that agreement, and then one of the first podcasts I do exclusively on Apple Podcasts, basically it gets flagged. There goes my relationship with Apple Podcasts. I kind of ruin it because I'm playing copyright music. So I ask, this is where it leads to, for example, it leads to, what do I do now? How can I circumvent this? How can I make this work? Now, mind you, I asked ChatGPT. So again, if I'm going to be honest with you all, is if, for example, you are doing something like this, work smarter, not harder. So I'm asking, Hope, welcome in. Hope you're doing. Thank you for liking the live. Appreciate you. I'm asking ChatGPT, okay, how can I make this work? What can I use? Blah, 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 blah. And it provided me multiple channels, multiple sites that actually offer copyright for free music, and also will give you the user license to say you are eligible to use the music and it is copyright free, as they say. So this is where it leads into Upbeat. I was looking at just to see what is the easiest. I think the other one is, I forgot what's called, Endemic, I think. Endemic Sounds, I haven't really looked at the page, but that's one example. Endemic Sounds is one where you can get copyright free music from whoever artist makes the stuff. But basically, what they say, it's copyright free. So you're able to use it on a podcast, you're able to use it on your stream, you're able to be in a situation where you don't have to worry about getting copyright strike, especially on YT. Keep that in mind, YT. You'll understand where I'm leading towards. So what I came across was, for example, it was Upbeat. Took a look at Upbeat, tried to see what I was doing, and then I made a decision to subscribe for it. And what does that mean to you? I'm allowing to pay a subscription service so I can download as many songs I want, which are stated as copyright free. So what ended up doing is got a service with Upbeat. It's upbeat.io. Basically, it's curated by a lot of artists, but I think what's happening there is essentially is they offer their music, which is copyright free. So for people who are content creators, like, me as a podcaster, or you're just a content creator or on a bigger venue than TikTok, and there's many other avenues that you do know, whether it's on Spotify, I'm just saying in terms of a podcaster, whether it's Spotify, what's Apple Podcasts, if you're on YT. So what happens here is when you download, the thing is, there's a difference. If you stream the music, Mimi Kath, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate anyone who's come here or brand new. I do appreciate you. Do me a favor. Give me a follow. I'm also available. All my podcast episodes. We're almost near 40 episodes on our podcast, the Authentic Podcast. Joe Lobo presents the Authentic Podcast. We're almost at 40 episodes. Come find me on Spotify. You can also find me on Apple Podcasts. Actually, my TikTok page has the Apple Podcast link that you can tap on, and it'll lead you and direct you to Apple Podcasts if you have an iPhone. Appreciate you take a look at that. One of the episodes I highly suggest people start looking at first if you're curious about my talk. And at the end of the day, my talk is more about just influencing you to believe, like me, even though I'm human just like you, to give you opportunity. There's so much opportunity for you to do amazing stuff. You just gotta believe in it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys giving me a follow there. Go to my TikTok page, for example. There is the link to Apple Podcasts. You can tap that link and it'll lead you to my page. Give me subscribe to me there. I'm going to lead to do some stuff there. So I appreciate you subscribe to me on Apple Podcasts. But if you're a Spotify fan, you can also follow me there. I think there the path in Spotify is a little bit different. There's some milestones I have to hit first before I do anything. Apple Podcast straightforward. You just have to pay a yearly fee. So in US dollars, it's only. Let me make sure my thing is. I noticed my thing's not running. Is it running? I noticed my thing's not running. Let me do this again. Give me a second. Split view. The service stopped. So let me see. Let me do this again. Bear with me, guys. Hold on. This is what you have to do. The server stopped, so I noticed that you couldn't even see anything. Like, to the people who are from the Philippines, like me right now, you probably didn't understand anything. Hopefully you did understand a little bit, but this is why I do the translator behind me. And again, we are live here on TikTok, so this stuff will naturally happen. Now, if we do this in Apple Podcasts, it's gonna be probably a little bit different. But let's say HYKI. Hold on. Let's see. Are we back? Hello. Okay. So sorry about that. There you go. Toby, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. So, where was I? So with basically the direction we're trying to go for Apple Podcasts, I didn't want to put you in a position where, like, okay, I start posting content and then my music is not copyright protected, and then I get pulled down with copyright strikes, blah blah blah. So again, fast forward. I'm using music from upbeat.io. So you pay for their service. It's monthly service. US dollars is $10 a month. But you get to download as many songs as you want. What ends up happening is when you download the music, they will provide you with the licensing and the link. They just ask you in your description to say, hey, this is music from upbeat.io. Here is the link of the music. Here is the license. So basically what I understand with that is essentially they will provide the documentation to say, yes, you're more than fine to use the music. And this is more for the folks who are like, even like Spotify, where they call it out and say, hey, this music, Marben's welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you coming by, stopping by. Appreciate you sending me Harmy. But again, if Spotify were to come back and say, hey, this music is blah, 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 it's copyright, I can come back to them and say, well, because there's stuff in Spotify that will tell you, if you have justification to use this stuff, show us. So now I can show them, say, hey, this is from upbeat.io. Here's the link. Here's the code that enables me to use it. Crossing my fingers, this will allow me to be in a position where it's just going to be like, okay, cool. There's not going to be any issues. So anyway, that's one of the highlights I did, for example, for today. Not today, it was actually yesterday. So mind you, I was supposed to go live, but basically things happened. So I used my time and effort to do something totally different. I ended up going to research, how can I fix this copyright thing? So we're now playing music that's exclusively from upbeat.io. It's not stuff. Rev Sketch, how you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. None of this stuff, quote unquote, it's saying, quote unquote, this is copyright free. So now I can freely use this in my podcast, or for example, we turn on to do streaming or whatever, I can use this stuff. And they actually have a big catalog, and I'm surprised with it because, like, for most of the part, for my podcast, it's usually lo-fi hip-hop, if anything. So like, I'm always gonna be playing this. So like, even like finding lo-fi hip-hop on upbeat.io was actually easy. And pretty much all the songs I was trying to, sorry about that. I was trying to find and search. It was pretty much the same, the same music essentially I was playing from my Spotify playlist. Let's be honest here. I was playing Spotify playlists when I was on my podcast. So now comparing what I have, and I had a worry sometimes where, like, let's say you go for these copyright free music, and I had an experience with this where, I was playing stuff from the YouTube. If you like, I have a, if you guys didn't know, I do have a YT channel. But however, I haven't uploaded for a long time, and it's more for my previous version of myself. They have a music library, but I'll be honest, like the organization and the sounds of the music, the quality that's in there, it was crap. I didn't like it at all. So it was very limiting on, the type of music you can use on YouTube's library, like YT's library. Jumlene, how are you doing? Haven't seen you for a long time. Thank you for liking live. Make sure you send me a heart me. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. I didn't like it on YT at all. Like, I didn't like the music. I didn't like the quality. So it was a challenge. Even though when I was back in the days when I was doing I know it's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. Like when I was doing cinematics, like it was very hard to pick the right music because on YT, you have to be like, they have strong copyright rules. So most of the time I was just using their stuff on YT's audio library, and it's not the greatest. So again, going back to, like, I can talk about a little bit before when I was doing cinematics with TikTok and YT. There's there's a reason why I stopped on YT, because of the fact that, like, I would take one file, first edit for TikTok, and then I would post it. However, when I move it into YT with the same songs, guess what would happen? I would get a copyright flag. So it's just like, okay, got to change the music, got to find something that fits and I was the type of cinematic person back then where I was just like, I would change frames of a video based on the beat of a song. So mind you, if I have a TikTok cinematic that it's based on the beat of a song, and I'm going to YT to change it, it was a pain in the ass to change it because of the fact that I had to find a song that was almost similar to the one from the TikTok version, and sometimes it didn't. So it kind of came to a point where it's like, oh my god, it was too much work. And even too, like, if you guys didn't know, I mentioned this many times before. This iteration of who I am right now is Authentic Podcast. There was such a thing called Daily Authentic. So you get a connection of Daily Authentic, and this is the Authentic Podcast. If you ever find it, I'll probably share it one day if you want. Or even no, go to my TikTok page. You can see that Daily Authentic in all my posts. There are posts specifically the Daily Authentic. That what was it about? It was basically a series where I was just like posting every day. It wasn't sustainable though because of the amount of time and effort to do it. It wasn't sustainable at all to do it. But I mean, like, it was basically motivational. It was a motivational series from Monday to Saturday, where pretty much I was giving the same thing. I was giving the stuff I'm doing right now. Brother Kevs, the supermodel janitor that people think stock. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. But I mean, like, it wasn't sustainable. That's why we stopped doing it. So now, if you think about it, the amount of effort I had to do for, like, YT, for example, it was hard. So again, Tatai Jun, how are you doing? Welcome in. Make sure you send me heart me as well. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. But I mean, basically, it was a lot of work. Supermod Janitor is here, brother. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. It's busy. life is pretty damn busy right now. Yeah. So let's go back to what I was talking about. Copyright music. Now we have something where you're getting music specifically from upbeat.io, where I have the music licenses to say I can use this music as a podcaster, whatever I'm doing. So I can't run into a situation where just like I'm going to get hit by copyright flags. So now I can say, look, I have this. Yes, finally. So given that, and what I'm leading towards is this, the future of all this. I mean, I'll be honest here. If you're planning to make something big, right? If you're planning to make something big, don't just think here. Seriously, don't. You got to think of avenues to put yourself out there. Ginger, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming by, stopping by. Appreciate you sending me your heart me's. Everyone else, do I still have it up? I don't know if it's still there. Oh, I still have it. Everyone, I have 1 minute left. I need one person to send me 1 rose. 3 people to send me 1 rose. If you can do that for me, we can finish this flash goal, which I haven't seen for a long time. But anyway, the future of all this, right? And then I talk about like, okay, and I mentioned this to my circle of friends, the folks for the authentic circle. Like, you know, if you're planning to be a successful at anything, or successful, which these are the terms of a successful content creator, right? You got to think about things bigger than where you are, if you know what I mean, because of the fact that, like, you know, hold on. You got to think of bigger where you are. So like I gave the example where, for example, okay, so you are a content creator here in TikTok. What if one day TikTok disappears? What do you do? What happens to your group of friends? What happens to your content? Is that it? Like, for example, let's say you are a big TikTok content creator just solely on TikTok. And then you find out that something happens to TikTok. I don't know. It could happen. There was a lot of threats in the United States where almost, quote unquote, everything turned out to be fine. But for the most part, what if this platform disappears? Is that it of your content creation career? Is that it? Everything? There's nothing else you can do? Like, is that it? Thank you, Kevs. Appreciate you sending me the heart me. Is that it? So this is why I always tell my circle, my friends, that like, if you are a content creator, you gotta think bigger than just TikTok. So now, why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is because what I have in mind and what I want to do, just even like with with Apple Podcasts, for example, I can give you what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to start, not right now. I'm gonna wait till December. This is temporary, absolutely. Maybe in December when everything's settled and right. I'm gonna start doing subscriptions on Apple Podcasts, and then do exclusive Apple Podcast stuff over there, so that people who want to follow me there, because it's shown me enough on Apple Podcasts. Like, holy crap, there's holy shit, there's people that actually want to listen to me there. Because I don't think it's by chance where almost 100 people looked at my last podcast. I don't know how the algo works over on Apple Podcasts, but I'm getting exposure there. So if that's the thing, right? You gotta take advantage of that. But also too, think about, okay, once I do this, let's think about how I can make shit work where I don't get affected. I don't get, in a sense, fucked. So number 1, let's fix the copyright music part. Let's go from a neutral source where they say and claim that, okay, it's copyright free. We'll give you the licensing. So anytime you run into a situation where pretty much TT, well, I'll tell you something about that, Kev. For example, with Apple Podcasts, I wanted to make sure that it's right. So this is why I went to the realm of, for example, doing this, paying $10 a month, so that I, protect my brand. Let's be honest here. I have a brand now. I am Joe Lobo Presents the Authentic Podcast. Yes, maybe not here in TikTok where, I do multiple other things. I sing sometimes, I do random stuff, but my main bread and butter, in my opinion, is my podcast. This is the podcast. This is my thing where I feel like it will be the one that takes off. So this is the reason why I did the music. We have this now. Now, I don't know if you can go live in Apple Podcasts. I don't think so. So I'll have to post series. However, I mentioned about YT, where I can see in myself where, I'll be honest, I can multi-stream at one point. Damn, that's why your brother says I learned a lot. So I'm saying, so this is where I'm coming towards as well. Even playing video games on TikTok. I'm already thinking about that, but I don't like to play on my control. I don't want to play on my phone. I'm waiting. I probably might do something on my PS5, and then just get a stream. I don't know what you call those things, but basically it's a capture device. I already think about getting a capture device to capture when I play video games, so that I can show it here. Now, speaking about YT, and this is where, like, right now, my resources right now, I don't have the resources to run this. I have a MacBook that only has 8 gigs. if I even try to do it, it's just gonna be super choppy. It's gonna be, I don't have the power and energy on this MacBook. However, what I do have that's coming to me, and this is probably gonna be maybe towards December, when my brother comes back, is my 2020 iMac that I have. It's a powerful beast. I think I created that for the intention of back in the day when I first got into it. And if you guys don't know, I started in crypto. So, I need to, at one point I was like, usually when you start something brand new, you want to look at the stuff and make sure your investments are like, yes. So I ended up getting an iMac. It wasn't for that, but I got an iMac, but I upgraded the memory. The memory on my iMac is 64 gigs. So one in itself, it's a powerhouse. Not necessarily trading. I did invest. I have investments in crypto. I mean, to each his own what people think about crypto, but I think there's a good future for crypto, and it is very, very, very early. So whatever, yes, there's a lot of manipulation that's happening in crypto right now, but the long term, if you are patient enough, it's going to be really, really good. But basically, okay, what I'm going to, I have a 64 gig iMac, which one can handle a couple things. It can probably render videos faster because of the fact that it has so much memory. So one, and then also two, the situation that's mentioned about where those old, I don't know if I can still do that because I have to look for the file, because I don't think TikTok holds a file for a certain amount of time. But in an event that I would say I have to strip the music from a podcast, there is an app out here. I tried it out, but I just don't have the resources to pull it. I think my iMac will be able to do it. I think that it's, so if you're curious about it, it's an open source program called UVR. I think what it essentially does is it will take your video file, whatever your video file is, and it will cut the audio. It will separate the audio, separate the vocals, whatever you want to do. It actually works. Believe me, I've tried it on CapCut. You can't do that. I always had issues. That's why this is the reasoning why, one, I'm now doing what I'm doing now, because there's no way, no how for me to strip any music at all with the resources I have. Now, when I have the iMac, it'll probably be easier to run a process like that because I have 64 gig. Mind you, when I had back in the day, and it's still a powerhouse. Like for me, honestly, I think that iMac is probably going to be still running fine. I may have to update it a lot because it's, the OS is really old, because I think it's 2024 is the last time I use it. But I mean, like, for the most part, it should be more than capable to do what I want to do. I don't need to buy, and I hate it because I don't want to buy a PC to be able to do what I'm doing in TikTok. Now, why am I telling you this? Now, moving on to the future of what this is. Now, the idea, and I mentioned to you before, where if you're a content creator, let's say you're a great content creator here in TikTok, right? Now, what if, for example, again, we don't know. Let's be honest. We don't know how long we're going to be here on TikTok. It can be one day that TikTok says doesn't want to be TikTok, and this turns into something that people don't want to go live on anymore. Whatever we had on TikTok is now so different that there's no point of us going live. You know what I mean? Now, the question I ask to you, and I challenge folks here, like folks who are content creators in TikTok, like, have you been thinking about, okay, are you just going to stay in TikTok, or are you thinking about bigger? And this is why I talk about to my friends here on TikTok, are just like the ones who, who are the content creators who want to be aspiring, and the ones who get inspired by me. And maybe this is an opportunity for the people who are listening to me right now. Even there's a handful of people looking at me, but there's a reason you look at me right now, because of the fact that you've been thinking about, we're just like, okay, how can I make this work to go beyond TikTok? So now, why am I telling you this? With the iMac I'm going to have, the plan is, and also utilizing, what I'm going to try to do as well is utilize my DJI Pocket 3 for video capture, but utilize my iMac. I think I'm going to be using OBS to make this work. However, in OBS, you can multi-stream. So not only can I do it from here, I can also go to you guessed it, you can also go to other platforms. Ooh, did I just get what did I say? I think I got a fragment. Woo, congrats to me. I think I got a fragment. You can multi-stream. So thinking about it now, if I'm doing these live on TikTok, and maybe I can bring back up YT. I can also go live at the same thing as YT. I don't think TikTok has a problem with that as long as, you stay within whatever the can do, cannot do on TikTok, obviously. So F that. Welcome in. Hope everyone's coming here enjoying my vibe, multi-stream down. That's the plan. I mean, I'm not trying to make it so hard that I'm not gonna be no hardcore streamer, but just like branching myself out so that it's just not TikTok. I'm already doing it already with, for example, with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So why not, if, for example, we're going to be streaming, and mind you, I do have a vision of maybe game capturing me playing video games. We'll probably do that. That's what people do right now, like the streamers. If you go to the purple app, you know what I mean, or you go to the green app, people multi-stream now into YT. And for the sake of, for my situation, why the fuck not? But how many I don't know. I think you can do more than 2. I'll be honest, you can do more than 2. I think for me to be safe, I'm not going to go overboard and just go here, YT, purple app, green. That's too much. I think the only intention right now is just going to be 2. It's probably here and YT. Because I know there's going to be people who want to listen to a podcast live. I would imagine so. Or even watch my content, even though I'm going to be playing whatever I'm going to be playing. But having OBS as the app to be able to do this, it's possible. I tried to double before on my MacBook. And this is when I was in the province house, when I was thinking about using my MacBook to go stream live. Now, I was able to use my Pocket 3 as the camera to show me. The challenge was this: the shoddy internet I had in the province house, not to mention, I think that was the issue with the servers. Now, that's another thing I need to figure about, because, like, it probably would be meaningless. The last time I checked, if I'm pinging over 100, then it's kind of be meaningless to be doing this multi-stream, because the fact that it's gonna be super choppy when you see me go live. Hopefully, at least I can do a 1080p 60. I don't know if I can do 4K I don't know if I can handle 4K on YT with me being the Philippines. However, it all depends on the server I'm in. I think there's a server I can access that's in a nearby country that I think the ping was below 100, so it might be doable. But that is the vision I have, where it's just like, okay, if I go live here on TikTok, I can probably do the same thing and be live on YT. That's the idea. So if you are a content creator, let's say if you are a content creator who wants to be bigger than what you are right now, then this is the stuff you should be thinking about. You should be planning, like, okay, for example, if you're a podcaster like me, okay, you want to get bigger than just TikTok, right? You got to think of the avenues of, okay, well, how can I make this work? Shouts out to a person that I no longer talk to, but for example, that individual was telling me that she put her stuff on TikTok. on Spotify, and I was like, okay, cool. So that was a breadcrumb for myself. I was like, okay, why not put my stuff on Spotify to see what people listen to? There's actually, no, it's crazy. I think I have about 30 followers. I have 30 followers on Spotify. So there's people listening to my stuff on Spotify. Most of them are from the Philippines, but like, I made it work. Oh, you know who it is, Kev. I don't have to repeat that person's name. But I mean, like, that's one avenue. And then come to find out, like how it was so easy for me to get onto Apple Podcasts, even though I had some issues with my Apple ID. You're laughing because you know we all know who we're talking about, but it's over and done with. I'm beyond that. But like, yeah, it's like the only issue I had was like Apple Podcasts was my Apple ID, and then now we're on Apple Podcasts. So this is what I'm saying. If you are absolutely, I moved on. I think a lot of people moved on, to be honest with you. To each his own. Like, and I said this before, if you are a content creator and you're planning, Hazel, Mackling, if you're a content creator and you want to be bigger than TikTok, then you should start thinking about being bigger than TikTok. How are you going to get yourself to a position where you're not just here, but you're somewhere else? Think about that. Again, and then the stuff that I want to make mention to you, if you can do me a favor, I'm going to take a break real quick. Do me a favor. I appreciate you can send me your heart me's while we're here on TikTok. That helps me get visibility to even more folks in TikTok who like my stuff, who want to be inspired about the stuff I talk about, or maybe you're an inspiring individual who's a content creator and you're trying to figure out how this stuff works. Well, maybe there's a reason why you're here. So I appreciate you can send me a heart me. I appreciate you can do that for me as well. Princess Bad Trip, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for your heart me. Thank you so much. Tap your screen as well. If you can repost and reshare, I would absolutely appreciate you can do that. But going back to what I was saying, if you're a content creator here on TikTok and your vision is, let's say, some people go on here because it's the friendship, the camaraderie. This is what I like about the Philippines, is because of the fact of, if you compare this to USA TikTok is a different animal. USA TikTok is handled a little bit differently. Hi, Princess. How are you doing? Where the stuff is more viral. It's a little bit different. But here in the Philippines, what I gathered from TikTok is it's a place where people meet their friends, where people hang out with each other, and while they're going together in lives or they're doing things together. It's a community thing. So you know, it goes back to like why I'm here on TikTok. This is the fact of the intro. Thank you for the cowboy hats, Princess. The hat and mustache. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's the one thing I love about TikTok, is TikTok here in the Philippines, because like it's a community, versus like you don't find that in the United States. The United States is just a total beast. Now, okay, going back to what I'm leading towards, it's just like, okay, you are on TikTok. Rachanel Artaj, welcome in. You're on TikTok. Let's say you feel in your vision somehow that you are bigger than what you are here in TikTok. So what are you gonna do? And these are the things you have to ask yourself. And if this is your passion to be a full-time content creator, okay, then think about what is after TikTok. And you always have to think of perspective. It's just like, okay, so what happens one day? And this happens to a lot of people. Like, you know, I don't want people to believe that, okay, if TikTok disappears, that's it. My life's over. You know, I can't do the stuff I want to do. I want you all to believe that there's always opportunities. You just got to put yourself into those opportunities. You got to think there is things that you yourself can do to put yourself out there. So going back to what I'm saying is, you know, you got to put your hands in other baskets. You can't just think about, you know, for me as a podcaster, grab the opportunity. Exactly. For me as a podcaster, if I just thought in my mind that, oh, I just want to podcast strictly and exclusively on TikTok, and given the situation that, one, let's be honest here, I don't think there's many podcasters like me on TikTok. Let's be honest here. I don't think so. So if you're dreaming, your vision, for me, and it's always been the same thing. You can talk to the people, you can talk to Kevs. Has any of my stuff changed? I mean, yes, my content has changed, but my direction, my vision of what this has turned out to be, like, has that changed? Heck no, it has not changed. So given that situation, like, my longevity here in TikTok, I hope it lasts. I hope I have ideas. Like, it's funny because one of my mutual friends, and shouts out to her if you know who she is, my Eastside girl, we have, like, you know, it's not a joke, but she's been saying, oh, I'm gonna get you up to a certain amount. And I was like, cool. But yeah, that's great. And if we do get to a point in here on TikTok that we have we're at a huge following, that's freaking awesome. Then we'll be on top with the other people in A, which that's the goal of mine too, is be on A. I'm gonna be in League A, A1. Who knows? But you gotta keep on believing in what you're doing, your passion, and whatever. Now, why am I telling you all this? Is because of the fact of, if you really believe in your craft, and say for example, you're an aspiring singer. That's another thing too. If you're an aspiring singer now, your podcast is unique and authentic and gives awesome advice the viewers can't forget. Appreciate you, brother. Now, again, with the music part, I think most people are fine with it because, like, you will usually play, for example, the instrumental version of a song and they'll be able to sing it. So you should be okay if you go to another platform you go to another platform and do your singing there. Should be okay. But this is where you gotta think about the stuff. Eileen, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you can send me a heart me. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. But this is where you gotta think about it, right? How are you gonna get yourself to a bigger? How are you gonna get to bigger? And mind you, some people are probably comfortable as heck of what they have in TikTok, and that's fine. If you like what you're doing right now, where it's comfortable and you're getting you're getting your satisfaction of what you do, right? And no hate on what people. I mean, no shade on anyone, and if like on what they do, because again, people can equally hate on my shit, and just like it's to each his own. Agree to disagree. But what I'm saying is, if your vision is to be a big content creator, or for me, if my vision is to be, to let this podcast, Joe Lobo Presents the Authentic Podcast, available on Spotify, and I'm also available on Apple Podcasts. Appreciate you give me a follow. If your vision is to make this big yourself, let's say if you're a podcaster or a singer, you want to make it big, you got to think bigger than just here. And this has always been the things I tell my friends in my circle, the authentic circle, the folks who are still content creators. It's like, if your vision is to be a full-time content creator, or for example, be in a position where you no longer have to work your day job because this content creating thing is actually taking off for you. If you put yourself in a certain way or position where it's actually going to attract people to follow you along, then you got to do these things. You got to put yourself in. You have to believe in enough for yourself. Like Sid Temple knows what I'm talking about. We're just like, I made him a believer. It just came down to him meditating one day, and they realized, holy shit, like this guy's stuff is legit. But I mean, what I'm saying to you all is just like, in order for you to get big in whatever your stuff is, whatever you're a singer, I mean, whether you're a podcaster, you're an aspiring podcaster like me, like you got to do the things and think beyond TikTok. Like, I can understand, for example, for me, being a podcaster here in the Philippines can be a little challenging because of the fact that I am speaking English to. However, my solve is that where I can at least translate what I'm saying in Tagalog, and then most of the people will have to just read what they're saying and not be in a position like, oh my God, nosebleed, what I always get. So this is where I'm saying, where like, I do things like this to make sure I keep my base, the ones who consistently come here every day and look at my podcast and or listen to my podcast, whether it's on Spotify or even on an Apple podcast, where like they come here for the content. They come here to understand, like, okay, this is what he does. Like, you got to think of ways like this. You got to think yourself, envision yourself. What is your like, some people can only think 1 year, but sometimes if this is your vision, your view, and I wish, even the individuals I pointed out in the past, where it's like, you have a unique gift, you should do something about it. I wish, sometimes some individuals like just take that lead and it's like, fuck yeah, let's go do it. But to each his own. Your path's different. But for me, if, I feel in my heart that this is something going to be huge and big and it's going to be worthwhile for me to do it, then I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure this is fucking successful. Again, yes, I've went through a lot of situations where like, this is challenging sometimes to do this because of the fact that like, being an adult, having responsibilities, all the other stuff I've done, which I take ownership with. I mean, it's a challenge to do this. However, I've never went to a position where I went on this podcast and did this for the money. No, I've always told everyone it's not about me. It's always about you, the people listening to me, whether you're on TikTok, you're listening to me to on my podcast, on the other places I have. Super great challenge, brother. Exactly. This is a wake up call to people who like, they question about themselves and be like, of who they are and why they do the things, and they always say, I want to be this, I want to do this. Well, I'm telling you, then do something about it. Don't just talk. You know what I mean? Don't just talk and say you're gonna do it, and then and you have all the tools, and then you're not doing anything about it. Then why do you make your talent just die? So again, do what you got to do to get your stuff out there. Like, I buy all these things that are relevant to my podcast, like the mic, making sure that, I have, this is why I have a Moanacaster 2 now, because of the fact that I want my quality to sound good. Some people don't understand it when I say like, and it doesn't mean too, I want to make sure I reiterate, you don't have to start even if it's an individual who's, and I'll talk about that. There's an individual that reached out to me and just saying how inspiring my stuff is, and they're telling me like they feel comfortable talking to me for some reason about like what what they want to do, what they've been feeling about. Hold on, I have this box in front of me. They've been sharing me like, oh, I want to do this, but I have some anxiety, blah 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 blah, and I just tell them just fucking do it. No one's gonna tell you, okay, unless you feel like there's an outside force that's preventing you from doing everything that you want to fucking do. I'll be honest with you, it's really you. Yes, life can get in the way. I'm a pure example there right now, where life has gone in my way, where it's been challenging to do stuff like this, and just like there's more important stuff than what I have to do here. But however, if you have the opportunity to do it, then you should fucking do it. So what I'm leading to this again is just like, okay, if you become a podcaster, if you're singing, you don't need this equipment to do anything. You just have to press the live button wherever you are, whether you're on TikTok or another avenue or you're on YT, just go live. And then just test the waters, see what it is. Be consistent, go on live more often so that you get to a point where just like it's so freaking easy to talk. Like, again, I tell everyone when I'm here on doing this podcast, and especially the folks who are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, like I was never like this. I was never in a position where like I can easily talk to people and show my thoughts. There have been times where like I would go to a room and I'll look at the, I would jumble myself because of the fact of it, like, you have to keep the stuff going. And I say that because of the fact there could be times where here on TikTok, for the folks who are staying in TikTok, like there might be no one listening to you, but what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit there and stare at the screen? And I see that, and that's fine, to each his own. If that's you want to just stare at the screen and just waiting for people to come in, that's up to you. But for me as a podcaster, you know how silly that sounds? Where it's just like, okay, I'm podcasting and talking to this person and the person disappears and then all of a sudden I stop and just wait. No. So what I've trained myself to get to a position into is just like, I just keep on fucking talking, even though it seems like no one's watching. However, you have to remember, there's always someone watching you. 100%. There's always someone watching you. They're probably watching an FYP right now because they don't want to come in here and tell you like, oh, they don't want to let you know that they're watching you. So this is what I'm saying to you, for example. Sorry. That's what I'm saying to you. You should keep if you are an inspiring content creator, maybe you sing or you podcast, you should just keep on doing the singing, keep on the parts. Who gives a fuck about that number? Because if you start worrying about the number and you get conscious about, okay, how do you, the LPAs, probably, you probably get worried about like how you sound, how you talk. And then that's going to even restrict you even more, where you're like, you don't want to go on, but you have to get in a position and confidence where you just be able to talk or sing, whatever it is. Like, but it starts with you. I'll be honest. It really starts with you. Rev Sketch, welcome back, brother. How are you? To do anything. So again, once you get yourself, once you get your bearings down, you're starting to get consistent. Eventually, when it comes to a point that you are able to afford it, you should be saving something. Now you can buy the mic. Now you can buy the setup. Now you can buy whatever is around you. Yes, I told many people too. Mind you, I haven't advertised a lot. I do have a showcase here, a TikTok showcase, where you can see every single thing that I use on my lives. Where it comes with the PD200X I'm using, the Motocaster 2, the lighting, the T&W lighting, the 11-inch rectangular lighter I'm using, and I have another one here that I got from a local furniture store. But everything that I use, and if you're curious about like what I use in my podcast, even like for example Spotify folks or Apple Podcast folks, you can always go to TikTok and find out what it is. If you're in the Philippines, for example, like you can see my showcase, and basically you can see everything I'm using, even the monitor. I have a speaker monitor where like I don't have to wear my IEMs at all, and this is a brand new thing. I have IEMs because I wanted to get away from the headset. I wanted you to see my Calbo face that people always, it's blocked now, so good luck to you. You're never gonna say it. But I think for the most part, I wanted to make, for me, quality is important. Like that's even the same thing too. Like even if you're going to other platforms, you should be paying attention to your quality. You should be paying attention to how you sound and look, because of the fact, not necessarily look, but how you sound and how I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is like, how are you going to keep people with you? Why you go through changes or go through these avenues, right? You got to think about stuff like that, because of the fact of like, if you want this to be successful, you got to find a way or how to make sure that people are going to continue on with you. Again, my content and what I say, again, like for the folks who are brand new, the ones who are listening in FYP, or the folks who are with me right now listening to my podcast, or I can see there's about 4 billion people here, or even the ones that are on Spotify, or even the ones on Apple Podcasts. Like, this is all on you. Like, how much do you want this? Like, how much are you going to continue to believe or align yourself with the individuals who are going to support you to get to the next level? Understand that you will never succeed at anything if you don't put yourself in the position to get there. Like, having the mental capacity, not the mental capacity, but having the attitude where like you are going to get to where you are going to get to where you're going to be. This is the law of attraction again, folks, where like you're speaking into existence of, this is where I'm going to be at, this is going to do it. I can see and feel how it's going to be when I get there. And then lo and behold, you'll get to positions where, the people, places, things, events will come towards you that will lead you to your ultimate goal. But the main thing is allowing it to work, whether it's God or universe or whatever you believe in, allowing them to do it for you. I'm saying them. Some people think it's a he, some people think it's a she. I'm saying them. So to each his own, agree to disagree. I believe in the universe. Some people believe in God. Some people believe in God and where like you have to do things for that God in order to get stuff. I believe it's God or universe or whatever, what have you, in a position where like, they're here to work with you. They're waiting for you to give the idea, vision, or plan of what you want to get to. So just keep in mind, I always say this with the law of attraction, the answer is always yes. Whether you are happy or sad or pissed off, or you're saying bad things about yourself or saying good things about yourself, the answer is always yes. They're going to say, yes, absolutely, we're going to do stuff like this. Absolutely. So like if you keep on going in a statement of lack, or a situation where you're saying you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have the resources to do this, you don't have this one, well, sorry, then the universe is always going to say, okay, you don't have any of that. We're going to give you more of the stuff you don't have. This is where you have to be, again, where I talk about the law of attraction real quick. It's just like, you got to put yourself in the mindset where just like everything is capable. You're capable of doing anything. Real talk. You're capable to do anything the fuck you want, as long as you believe in it enough. So that's where, for example, like, get into that position where you have this mindset, going to like this situation where my podcast, like if you even see, like, again, I always talked about it before, if you can see this in my TikTok page, my progression of my content creation career, when I started from just making cinematics, then doing a motivational series, and then came to in your face podcasting, and eventually me going live, and then to this part where I'm at now, where I'm actually podcasting with you, is all steps to this journey. It was all steps to this journey, and I say myself, you're asking do this too. You just have to understand how much you want it. That's the difference. Like now, again, it's unfortunate sometimes there's individuals who have this unique gift, but sometimes they may get influenced by individuals. Nish, welcome in. Long time no see. I see you. I always stop by. Thank you for stopping by. Now you see what my content is. So it's unfortunate sometimes when I see people who have this unique talent. And I mentioned this multiple times. So each his own. They're listening to FYP. I'm just speaking what's real. Again, I am only tiny steps can make a huge difference. Absolutely. Again, like I'm gonna say this again. And if people, I know this is another thing too. You'll know you're successful when you have haters. I know I have a shit ton of haters. Do I give a fuck? No, I don't give a shit. Teach his own. Go somewhere else. Or you listen to me. Maybe you get insights without telling me that you're actually getting insights. But again, like it's terrible to waste your talent if you don't do anything about it. And it's even worse too when you have this unique talent, but the people around you don't even see the damn talent. I keep talking about this multiple times because, brothers, welcome in. Thank you for the folks who come here. Again, just a reminder, if you can send me your harmonies, I appreciate you do. But I can't see what that says. Yes, love, hate. Yeah, absolutely. You'll always be in a position where, for example, I don't know why he blocks that, bro. Like, that's weird. Like, love, yeah, love you haters and bashers. You're always gonna be like, even I always bring it up. Like, me sucker, same situation. She makes amazing content, but she has a ton of haters. Same as me. I probably have a lot of haters because of her, because I have a mod and I'm an asshole over there. But again, does it affect me? No, I don't give two shits. I don't care if people don't like my stuff. I don't care. Again, agree to disagree. You can always have the option. If you don't like my shit, if you don't like my content, even on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, easily, if you don't like my stuff, you can just go skip, go somewhere else. And I think I talked about this before. You can skip and go somewhere else and then be perfectly fine. You'd be listening to something else. You'd probably be watching Roblox if you like Roblox. You'd probably be going to panels and just hang out with people if that's what you like. Again, choose his own people. If that's what you want to do and that's your content, you want to just be like that, then fine. For me though, it's just like I always be thinking about it, and it's like this is why I love. Again, I always love. This is the reason why I'm here on TikTok in the Philippines, because like I love that. I love it. To be honest with you, be it the community. I met a lot of friends here on TikTok where just like I appreciate it. Again, I've told people as well when I moved here from the Philippines, from the United States, I used TikTok to make some sort of friends, because I was at one point where it was hard to make friends in the city I live because of the lot of how far we lived. So this is where, like, you know, I appreciate what we have in TikTok. But if you're trying to get to a place, one, again, align yourself to people, like naturally, this is what I think. Naturally, when you get to a position where, for example, you are leading towards your gift, your goal, your passion, whatever it is, you always are going to meet people who, one way or another, they're going to help you. Or one way or another, they might be just temporary to show you something at a point, but their path changes. It's naturally fine that you're going to lose friends and gain friends. It's happened to me time and time again here in TikTok, where like I was friends with an individual, I learned from an individual, and we don't talk anymore. I can't help it if people don't talk to me anymore. Or there's certain people you hang out with and you realize I don't hang out with them because what's the value add for me to be there? And it's unfortunate though, in social media, it'll happen. Or even in anything, it's going to happen because of the fact of like, it's your vision, your view of your life. Not everyone's going to have the same vision as what you want to believe in. And that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, like you're going to be, once you get this wheel going, like let's say you start singing more. Like this is what happened to me. When I started singing more, I got started connecting with a lot of more singers. I started getting connected with Mommy Diver of all people, and I sang her live. I got connected to a lot of singers here. And that's what ended up happening. And the same thing as podcasters. Like there's certain people that, you know, always come back to me and just say, hey, let's do a podcast together. And yes, shouts out to what's his name? Jem David. Yes, we need to do a podcast one day. I know we were supposed to do one together, but shit didn't flow right. But like, you know, always available to do a collab with people and doing a podcast. I've done one with Chad. Would like to do another one again. But here's the thing, like my podcast is a little bit different again, and you all should know this, and even like the ones who've been listening to me right now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Like my stuff is different. I tell this to many people, I'm not so structured to the point do I have a specific topic to talk about. It usually revolves around what has happened to me in my life, and I'll talk about it in a sense. Like, you know, there's other stuff I can talk about today, but just like we're leaning towards like my vision, my plan of what I'm going to do with this podcast. Max, welcome in. MG, welcome in. Any one of these brand new people that are coming here and hanging out with me, I appreciate you. Do me one thing. Make sure you give me a follow here. I'm also on Spotify. I'm also on Apple Podcasts. You can actually go to my TikTok profile, and there is a link to Apple Podcasts. Tap on that link. You go to my Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to me there. I'm gonna probably redo some stuff there. We're gonna work to that. But also too, you can search me and put Joe Lobo Presents : The Authentic Podcast into Google, and you can find me that way as well. It works. I have tried it. You can see me there. But again, all this stuff is never gonna happen. All this stuff is never gonna exist if you don't believe it in yourself. Like, shouts out to, for example, my guy here, Kev. He's the one, it's like, you know, he's been an inspiration for me as well, because like he's the one, I see your vision, bro, and like I see you doing this. And that's where like the people who are around you they pay tons to your success if you have the right people with you, because those are the type of individuals who will motivate you, say, Joe, your stuff is dope, blah blah blah. Supreme D, welcome in, brother. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you can send me a heart, me huggy. Everyone is here. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for liking live. I appreciate you. Surrounding yourself with the individuals who want you to succeed, or at least have some sort of vision of what you believe in. Yet again, I have people who I've learned a lot from individuals how to even network better. Like there are probably reasons why you meet certain people, maybe just to network better, or maybe you find another person who's a podcaster, you learn off them. Like this is one of the things I've done here on TikTok, where I always want to get to know the people who are the ones that are much bigger than me, to see how they're dynamic and how they talk to people. Like actually, in the end of the day, and this is for the folks who are listening to me beyond TikTok, where this is why Supreme, thank you for the heart. We appreciate you, sir. This is why I go out of my way and get out of my comfort zone to talk to these people who and most people wouldn't want to talk to. They would probably be not embarrassed, but they'd probably be too afraid to think what these people are going to say if you try to reach out to them and talk. For me, it's just why not? You have nothing to lose. But it's this is an amazing thing where it's just for me, it's more of just getting to know these individuals, to see who they are and what they're about. And so far it's worked for me well, where it's getting to know these certain individuals, and what they're about, where it led me to meeting some great people here. And that's what I'm saying, where it's just if you connect yourself with likewise individuals, or you believe in your craft, that's number one. If you believe in what you're doing, you believe in your craft so much that regardless of what people think, you know that you're going to get somewhere with it. You'll find out these things all happen. You'll find out there are reasons why you meet people, or maybe, unfortunately, there are some people where they may only be with you for a certain amount of time. And that's, it's what it is. I always tell people, friends come and go, especially in the journeys you are. I'll be honest, being authentic. And I read this off of I think I read this off of IG, where it said the more authentic you become, you start realizing that your circles get smaller, or it's harder to find people like you, I guess you can say. And it's true. Even being the individual who comes here, and I adamantly tell you all, I come in here with no mask. I come in here where the person you're talking to right now is probably the same individual outside. Again, I put a caveat there. Yes, I can be more, RBF, I guess, resting bitch face, and more direct in a sense. It's just, that's who I am. But when it comes to people who are having these conversations, or want advice from me, or they want to have a deep conversation with me, the person you're talking to right now is going to essentially be the same person. And this is where, as long as you can be true to yourself and who you are and what you choose to be, then naturally everything comes to you. This is where the explanation, multiple podcasts ago, where I made the decision where I'm no longer going to chase people. Because what is the purpose? If I believe in the law of attraction will naturally bring people towards me who were, they're going to send it to me. So why do I have to do anything? Yes, there's little things you need to do, but I don't think you need to chase anybody. So this is where, also too, as well, me being here in the Philippines, where it leads to, for example, the folks who like to court. I still don't understand courting. Get it? You have to just roll with me. It's just because I'm a Filipino American, that we don't have courting in the United States. I know that's a thing here in the Philippines, where just people are more than willing. People, that's the process of dating someone here. If you are a traditional person, you're an individual who likes the traditional stuff like that, then yeah, sure, why not? But it's just I've heard many stories as well, where just okay, with these folks and individuals who were, they've been chasing some individual for almost 2 years and they haven't gone anywhere. I don't know. For me, I wouldn't be doing that. I'm not going to put myself in the position here, if I'm trying to chase someone for 2 years and then nothing's happened in the 2 years, I'm going to stop. It'll probably be less than that, where, for example, if it was a certain week, Like, I don't even think, like, even my dynamic, I even tell you all here, even if I decided to get with a romantic relationship with a female, not here on TikTok, but just like in general, everyone starts as a friend. I'll be honest with you, I don't have the time and effort to do the courting. I am a individual, just given, maybe it's because of the fact of who I am, who I built myself to be. Where yes, I tell this is something publicly I tell everyone. I've been hurt in the past. I've been ran over many times, about 20 plus years ago. The version of the Joe you see now is vastly different than the Joe you see back maybe in 2008, 2010. Vastly different. That is someone totally different, but it's just the same way in the sense where, like, I learned a lot from those situations where it's just like, I don't want to be run over. I don't want to be taken for granted. I don't want to be in a position where, like, I don't feel valued. Like, why would you why would you force yourself to be in a position where essentially you're fitting yourself in and you don't feel valued? What is the purpose for yourself? Like, unless you like doing that stuff, then to each his own. That's up to you. But, like, you know, I would like to be, if I'm ever going to be in a situation or relationship with somebody, I want to feel that there's some sort of validation for me to be in a relationship. And that's the same thing where I always talk about, like, you know, romantic stuff, where everyone starts as a friend. Unfortunately, yes, people like the courting stuff. I don't know how it's going to be recording, but it's just like, what's important for me to understand, what's very important for me is to understand who you are. I think it's partially because of the things I have that are tied to certain people and events, or even my podcast. Like, I have a vision to make this big. I'll be telling you, you all know this. The people who've been following me yes, my vision that this is going to be something bigger than I think it's going to be. And this is why I always say in the beginning, welcome to the, you know, world's famous billions watched, because I adamantly believe it. You got to believe in this. You got to think of the most craziest shit ever to believe in it. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then how do you expect this to even grow and get to a point where it's just like, wow, it is successful. So, like, you know, you got to put yourself in the mindset like that. You got to put yourself in the position where, like, you are going to do this shit. You are going to be this individual who is going to get to where you're going to be. And believe me, why am I talking like this? Because it goes back to what I'm saying. It's going back to the beginning of this conversation where what my plan is. Why am I listening to non-copyright music right now and sharing you guys about what I did and why I'm doing it? Because of the fact of, yes, I'm going to say it again. The way I was approaching it, and sometimes it's cool and all. Like, okay, yeah, in TikTok, we have a lot of leeway in TikTok, to be honest with you, where you can play copyright music as long as you don't post. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't think there's a reason. Even if you do a recap of play music, it should be fine. I mean, you just gotta be careful what type of music you want to play, obviously. But you can go live with any type of music and play whatever you want. Like, if you guys notice, even if you guys follow me in the morning, this is why I play vibing music from Spotify and play it live while, you know, I get to avenue where I'm gonna meditate or whatever it is, you know. I think for the most part, that's perfectly fine. But however, if you're like me, that shit's not gonna work anymore. And you got to get yourself in the position to allow yourself to succeed. So in order for allow yourself to succeed, then yes, you have to get the positions where, like, okay, well, yeah, I have to, you know, find a way I can play non-copyright music so that I can gladly play on my podcast. So I don't get dinged. I don't get flagged. And now, with, like I mentioned to you all, is just like, for example, now if there's a situation where people are red flagging me and say, "Oh, you have copyright strike," I can say, "No, I have the licensing to say I can do it because I'm paying a service to do it." Again, you got to put yourself in the position to succeed. If you don't put yourself in the position to succeed, how do you expect to do anything? How do you expect to believe in enough when you start listening to fucking other people to tell you you can't do this shit? This is the main point of my podcast, is I'm trying to enable people like you, the people who are listening to me right now, whether you're here on TikTok on my live, whether you're here with me, or you're listening to FYP, or you're listening on Spotify, or listening to Apple Podcasts. Yes, those are the core three I'm on. There might be some other shit that'll happen down the road, but we'll get there. But how do you expect to grow, like, if you don't have that mindset? Now, maybe this is a gig like where you love your stuff that you're doing right now, and this is just like, oh, just to get myself off of the thought of having a bad day at work, and that's fine. But if some way, somehow you want to, Manila Horror brother, welcome in. How you doing, bro? Looks like you had a good live with Moisak last night. That was good. But I mean, if you're, again, it goes back to what I'm saying. Like if you feel that your passion is bigger than your job, is your passion is much bigger than essentially your day job, and you feel like you can do it, and all it takes is your belief to say, yes, I can do this shit. I can. It comes down to you having the belief yourself to say, yes, I can do this, right? And this is where everything will fall onto place. Like, even, for example, if he's here, Manila Horror is the best example. Maybe when he's first starting doing his ghost hunting stuff on YT, like, yeah, there were stumbles in the beginning, but he just kept on going. Or even like Moisak girl. Yes, people were hating the crap out of her on TikTok, but she just kept on going. And now look, tons of people are waiting for her, asking me every day. I'm surprised they didn't even come here. And they're saying, hey, Joe, when is Moisak going live? Is she going live? It's just like that. But you got to put yourself in the position to succeed, because no one else is going to do it for you. If you really believe that someone is going to do it for you, you're going to be waiting for a long time to get your stuff done. Even it's, and I can also talk about a position where, like, let's say, for example, you are blaming individuals for things that happen to you, and you're asking for people to help you get out of it. You're asking people to help you get out of it. I hate to tell you, it's going to be you. All this is on you. And again, like, I know that there are some individuals who feel that everything's out of their hands. It's out of their control. And I want to tell you all to wake up. It's not. It's your control. Anything that you ever want to do in your life, 100%. Anything that you want to do, whether it sounds crazy to people or most people will love the idea, it really comes down to you as your belief of, like, okay, let's do this shit. So at the end of the day, like, anything that you want to do is clearly possible. You just got to believe it. And going back to the folks here, I'm going to touch base again with, like, what I was talking about, like, why I'm doing the things I want to do, why my plan is, like, for example, eventually when I have the resources to do it, for example, I have something more that's more than capable of doing, aka my iMac. This is where eventually the thinking and thought of, like, okay, maybe I'm going to multi-stream now. Maybe I can stream my OC. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. Like, maybe the ideas of, like, okay, I can capture me playing video games and post it here, and also someone else, because now I have the resources to do it. And this is a thinking and process. Like, okay, now what I was mentioning to you all, we're just like, you got to think down the road. You got to think the 5-year plan or some shit like that. We're just like visioning that what it's going to look like from now to 5 years from now. What are you going to be? Obviously, even the relationship you have 5 years from now is probably going to be vastly different. You'll probably be losing a lot more friends in 5 years but in the same way, you'll probably be gaining a lot more friends in those 5 years. But it'll be interesting to see how far your longevity is. Like, my longevity at the end of the day, like, this is my vision or view where I think this is going to be something long term. I think long term in the sense where we're just like, this is my passion project. This is why I see it's going to happen. But however, it comes down to you believing that. No one else is going to tell you shit. Lance, welcome in. Hope you've seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. No one's going to tell you shit of, like, what you can, and, like, they're not going to tell you, or they're not going to have the keys for you to do it. It's on you to do it. 100%. I hate to tell you, if you're waiting for answers from your circle of friends to tell you yes or no, it's really on you. Like, even if you're put in a position where you have the sort resources already, but you're not doing it, I mean, you have to ask yourself, then why did you even buy the stuff? So that's where I'm saying, where just like some people get lost in the dirt and they realize, and again, I say that there's always the opportunity of the door opening is always going to be there. It just comes down to, when are you going to do it? Are you going to do it now, or are you going to wait till 6 years from now, 7 years from now, when the same people who've been with you in the beginning are probably way more progressed than you because you decided to start late. It's up to you. But like I say again, it's just like, given the circumstance of like my vision and what I want to be and what I choose to go towards, like, you got to think like that. You got to think about, okay, how can I, and that's always been my thing, right? Yes, I podcast here on TikTok, but I always thought about the folks in the United States. Okay, not everyone's on TikTok. Even the folks who used to work with me in my corp life aren't on TikTok. They're on the other platforms that I probably won't mention here. But for the most part, this is the reasoning behind that stuff. Because people would always ask me, bro, can you just post your stuff here? I don't have this app. I don't have TikTok. I don't like TikTok. I'm worried about the security stuff. And this is, mind you, this is a big thing over in the United States. There are some individuals who believe like, they're afraid of TikTok because of the data that might be taken away from them. Well, let's be honest with you, every app takes your data. So that's really on you. If you're doing some dirty shit, then I can't help you there. But again, if you have nothing to hide, I have nothing to hide. Yes, my personal life have stuff to hide where I have filters to make sure people don't say my name and say who I'm affiliated with or say where I'm at. But for the most part, the stuff that I can control and why I can share it, then I do it. Because even like when I was doing it, like the motivational series on TikTok, even my people, the circle that people want to keep up with me, they would say, hey bro, can you just put this on YT? And I was like, yeah, I did it for a minute, but it was like, oh man, it was a pain in the ass. But even the folks even the folks who were just like, what I'm trying to get to again is I wanted to make sure my stuff is available to as much as possible to anyone who wants to listen to my stuff, whether it's here on TikTok where you can maybe see me live. That's your gig. Shouts out to Mommy Shar. Mommy Shar says like I'm like her wake up call in the morning where she will basically wake up and listen to my thing. She gets happy when she sees me where she's like, okay, well, this helps me a lot sometimes, or the feedback helps me a lot. But there are some people who are like, for example, like, hey, I don't go on TikTok. I don't do this. And that's where it got me the thought, or just like why I do the things I do, why I'm in Spotify, and realizing how easy it is. And I'll be honest, I've told this many times, it's not a Rubik's Cube to get on Spotify and upload your stuff. It's actually easy. You just have to get obviously, and depending on what your content is, right? Like, it really depends. But I mean, I'll be honest, the editing I do right now is very minimal. I only add certain effects and I just upload the file. That's it. There's nothing extravagant to any of the things I do here. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's basically much easier than when I was doing cinematics before. It's just like you just have to put yourself into it. You just have to put yourself to a position where you actually can upload a file. You actually have details. Like, again, I've mentioned before in the previous podcast, you probably want to look at I think it was 2 podcasts ago, where I said, make it easier for yourself. Be smart. Make it work smart, not hard. Make it least complicated you do shit, the better it's going to be. Because if you make shit complicated, then of course you're not gonna be successful in anything. It's the same thing I talk about with losing weight or trying to go on your weight loss journey. Where, for example, like, you want to lose all this weight, but you're making it so damn complicated with the food. Like, yes, like for me, when I was at the pinnacle of my fitness, it was fine when you eat the same stuff every day. Some people can't, and this is why they have to go with the extravagantness of making these vast things, blah blah blah. But the question is, how sustainable can you make this? Is it sustainable enough to be repeatable? And it's always comes to a position where, like, for example, it's not, and this is why people will stop. Seriously, this is why people will stop, because of the fact that it's so complicated to do. Like, they get so bored or tired, or like they don't want to do it. They get lazy, and that's why they don't do it. This is why I always say again, even for podcasting, or even for, if you're posting content, be smart. You don't have to recreate the wheel 5 million times, because there's probably already someone who has done the same shit that you've done. Like, utilize AI. If you want to make yourself look good, that's what I do with ChatGPT. I tell ChatGPT, here's what I wrote. Can you make this sound better? Because, like, my grammar, I mean, as much as like, I feel like I have good grammar, I'll be honest with you, sometimes my grammar can sound not that great. So this is where I put it into AI to say, like, okay, make this sound better. Make this more appealing for this audience. This is the thing too. Make this more appealing for the TikTok audience. Make this more appealing for this platform. Make this more appealing for this. And it's, you don't want to be like, what I'm trying to say is just like, if you are constantly doing the same thing over and over and over for different things, different versions of yourself manually, you're wasting your time. You are. Utilize AI. Utilize the reasoning for it. Yeah, some people might be afraid of, because of like, you know, people who are Generation X millennials like me, like Terminator, it's kind of getting to that position where AI is smart enough to do stuff for you. But like, yeah, but utilize what you have around you to make your job easier. So like, you know how easy this podcast, like as in the content building, when you post the stuff on when I post on Spotify, and yeah, when I post on Spotify, I can tell you before, copy and paste, relevant. It's all going to sound the same shit anyway, unless you have a specific reason why it's going to be different. I copy paste the same thing of the description. Now, moving forward, I now have to give credit to Upbeat to say, hey, all the music provided here is from Upbeat. If there's any concerns, blah, 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 whatever it's going to mean. But I have to give credit to them, say, hey, this is from Upbeat. Any concerns, blah, 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 follow it. That's the only thing I have to change. But for the most part, make it easy. Make everything easy. And then you'll be surprised, like the more easy it is, the better for you to be repetitive at it. The better that you're going to post your content, the better that you are going to go live every day, because you made it freaking easy yourself. If you make it so freaking difficult where it's just like you're waiting for the right time to post something, then you're never going to post anything. I'm sorry. You will never post anything ever, because you're waiting too damn long to post something. So this is where, like, you know, for example, like, you got to get over that hump, post it, whatever it is. Who gives a shit what people like or dislike it? You're always going to have people who are going to love your stuff, and you're always going to have people who are going to be complete haters to your shit. It's the truth. It's 100% true to all this, where like not everyone's going to love your stuff, and that's perfectly fine. Tell them to go on, go somewhere else. That's why I tell everyone, if you don't like my stuff, you can always swipe over to someone else. Go find the right content that's right for you. But for my stuff particularly, is for the individuals who are here, whether you're listening to me actively here on TikTok or you're under FYP just watching me from the outside, one way or another, there's a reason why you're watching me. I also apply that to as well over on Spotify and TikTok. There's a reason you're probably listening to me right now, because you are looking for answers for yourself. You're looking for answers yourself to find out why is stuff not happening the way it should, or finding out reasons why. Get inspiration. How can I make this work? Oh, I landed upon this guy who's talking about how to make this work. Damn. Maybe this sparks your journey a little bit faster, where it accelerates you to get to the next part where you're always trying to get to. And I always believe that there's always situations where you meet people for reasons. It could be temporary, or you meet this person for temporary and they no longer fit in your dynamic. That's perfectly fine. You just have to grow with it. This is being adults too. Not everyone's gonna love your shit, but that's to each his own. But you're always gonna find people who are always gonna rock with you and believe in you. That's what I believe in. And you're always gonna find Cleo Vlogs. Welcome in. How you doing? You're always gonna find those right people. You're always gonna find your niche. Yes. Anna Marie, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Anna Marie, is that Anna? Manifesting. How you been? Hope, welcome in. How are you doing well? But like, again, you gotta do all that stuff. You cannot tell me like, oh, I'm just doing this just to keep me busy. I'm doing this just to keep me busy. No, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason you do this shit, because you like doing the content. You want, maybe one day, maybe it's not telling you yourself, but you actually want to get yourself to a position where maybe there's a huge following looking at you. Maybe there's people who actually listen to your stuff or get inspired to what you do, that you yourself will eventually become them. And then maybe, who knows, you probably might collab with them. You might. I think there's already, I mean, just I'll speak upon it. There was an individual that reached out to me recently, where this person just told me, like, you know, they feel very comfortable to say it to me, because I feel very approachable, in the sense where I'm not gonna what's that word? I'm not going to think different of them. That I'll be approachable thing, and that's what I did. I was approachable to the thing, and it was the same thing too. That we were talking about my podcast. Again, I know my podcasts are long. Not everyone. Loveland Tavana, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Not everyone is going to be willing to listen to 2 hours of podcasts. To each his own. However, whatever is in my podcast will usually be insightful information that you yourself can use to succeed in whatever the fuck you're going to succeed in. I'll be honest with you. There's always going to be something for everybody. So congratulations to you. Like, if you can listen to my 2-hour podcast and hear me and maybe you get inspired to do something amazing, then that's congratulations to you. That's all power to you. That is absolutely all power to you if you can do that. Because I mentioned this multiple times, why if I myself can listen to my own podcast and like what I say, that makes me believe that I am pretty good at what I do, in a sense. There's always areas for me. Again, I'm not saying I'm the perfect podcaster. I'm not saying that, to each his own. I'm not perfect. I am human just like you. But however, this will lead you to believe. Same here. I believe while cleaning my sheesh. Juju, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Again, it goes back to what I was saying, right? Like, I told that people multiple times, like, your shit is good when you can go listen to your own stuff and you'd be like, wow, I actually sound good. Like, I tell folks that a lot, where just like, for example, like, after I upload my stuff on Spotify, maybe a day later, I will listen to my podcast in the car. And I'm like, wow, it actually was a good podcast. It actually was good. And this is where, like, for example, there are reasons where, like, I keep on going, because, like, if I can listen to like, I'll be honest, I would be honest with myself too. It's just like, if I sound like shit on my podcast, then I probably would change it up or do something different that will make me sound better. Because, like, if yourself, like, let's say if you have content like me, you're a podcaster, or you sing in your lives or whatever, and you post content about your life, if you can't stand listening to yourself, then that's alarming. You should reevaluate, like, honestly, like your content. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like your own stuff, then how do you know if you don't like your own stuff, then how are you going to be confident enough to make even more stuff if you feel like your stuff is terrible? I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to say this, but just like, it's the same dynamic as like people who leave stuff in draft. Why is it in draft? It's like, so like, you don't give yourself the credit to do it. If you don't take the opportunity, like me, like, where like, hey, I post these on Spotify and I eventually will listen to, hold on. Damn, that's a problem if you don't like your own stuff. Exactly. It is the truth. I'll be honest with you. If you're putting all this effort into shit, or you're just a press away from publishing it, but you just leave it in draft because you're afraid of what people are gonna think about you, then that's a concern. And it kind of relates to what I was talking about again, where it's just like, okay, if I'm posting my podcast on Spotify and I can't listen to myself, then how do I know if it's successful or not? If I were to not be able to listen to myself, then that's not good for you. And again, I mentioned it multiple times. I mentioned it multiple times. This is how I can tell I'm good at this shit, is because of the fact that I can listen to my own self-talk and be like, wow, that was a good podcast. That was really good. And this is where you're going to be successful at this stuff, is because of the fact that shit, you can listen to yourself. And that's what I'm saying. Like, think in the perspective of, like, when you do whatever you're planning to do, whether you're going to be a content creator, I'm going to leave it as content creator. If you're going to be a content creator, wherever you're going to go, you got to love your own shit. You got to love what you're doing. You got to enjoy your stuff. Some reason, I know that there are reasons why people do the things they do in here, and that's totally out of respect. I understand. But like, if your overall goal is to be like, man, I want to be at this person, just like this individual right here, what is stopping you? Like, seriously, what is stopping you from being that individual? It's the same thing. It's just like, what is stopping you to be like a famous podcaster? Like, whatever your famous podcaster person you like, what's stopping you to be like that? What makes you any way different to them? They're same individuals who do the same, who wake up, use the bathroom, and eat, and then do whatever, deal with like life stuff as well. I mentioned to you work or partner or everything. Exactly. This applies to everything. Like, if you don't love yourself, then how's the other person gonna like you? If you don't love your work, then how are you going to be successful at job? If you don't like anything you do, then how are you going to like anything you do? It's truth. It's 100% truth. Like, again, I'm gonna make mention. There's a lot of people still watching me, and a lot of people listening to me. A lot of people listening to me on podcasts as well, on Spotify. I keep mentioning Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I will let you know that this is what I'm doing. And you yourself, I'm indifferent to you. I'm indifferent to you. You yourself can do the same thing if you push yourself to do it. And then this applies for everything, just like what my friend Kevin's saying, work, partner, or everything. Like, if you want to make something work with an individual, then whatever way or method it is, whether it's you are, again, I don't understand it, but if you guys want to court, then court. If that's the way you're gonna find love, then find love. if you're adamant enough where like you want to be in a position where like, no, I want to be specific of who I'm going to be with, and it doesn't bother me if I'm going to be single the rest of my life, because at the end of the day, I'm going to accomplish my goals or whatever it is. It'll be great eventually if I meet someone. I'll be honest, if I meet someone and they appreciate everything I do, and we actually go like this together, and we actually gel right, fucking awesome. But never be in a position where like you're going to date someone or you're going to be with someone, then they're going to tell you, nah, babe, don't do that stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. We'll figure it out. You don't have to do the stuff you're doing, because that's the wrong individual for you. I hate to fucking say it. If you're not going to date someone or be with someone who doesn't believe in anything that you do, then you have to reevaluate and question why the fuck are you in that situation. What's up, Chachi? How are you? You have to reevaluate. Like, why are you putting yourself in the position where these people don't believe in you? Like, it's a mind-boggling thing. It's mind-boggling. It's just like where good partner, good life. Absolutely. Or good work, good succession, or good podcaster will lead to many stuff. You know what I mean? Good baker will lead to more people liking your food. Right? That's what it's gonna lead to. It's just like believing in yourself, believing who you are gonna be, believing in yourself so much that believing in yourself so much that all these things will actually happen to you because you believed in it. I always bring this shit up where it's just like the famous people who the stuff you shop from or the stuff you use, they always had this vision or idea one way or another. Yes, absolutely. Believe in manifesting your own stuff. 100%. Fuck yeah. Like, you got to do that. You have to believe in that. Like, even the people like who the phone you're using, they started from the garage. They started from nothing, but they had the belief that they're going to make something that's revolutionary to the point that it's going to influence people to do some amazing shit. And that is the drive of my stuff here. It's just like, that's the drive of me, where it's just like my purpose, my why I want to do this is to influence people to believe just like me, to say this is more amid, again, we always run to bumps and bruises in our life where just like it's situations where just like it might hit the fan sometimes, or you have to position yourself a little bit different, that it's not going to work for a certain amount of time. Like me, like I cannot go live all the time because I have responsibilities given circumstances of stuff. But when you can do it, when you are able to do it, then you should just perform and do it. Like today wasn't a great day. Like there's a lot of things that happened in my family and stuff where I had to deal with it. We had to deal with the stuff. Like, today, I'll tell you honestly, I actually slipped on the floor today at a mall because of the fact that it was super slippery and it was pouring rain. But what did I do? I got the fuck up because at the end of the day, I realized myself in my personal life, well, if I go down, then what's going to happen to all these other people? So Thor, welcome in. Yeah, I slipped and fell a bit. It was I caught my fall, so it was all good. But I mean, like, what I'm saying is just like, things in your life will happen. Yes, I understand it. It will. But you should never derail your goals or passion or whatever you want to believe in, because at the end of the day, it's you that drives what you want to be. Like, it's you that will decide where you're going to go. It's not going to be on people to tell you, unless that's you. Unless you get influenced by millions of people to say you should do this because I feel like you should do this, and that you're fine with that, then shit, go ahead. But if you're an individual where you want to actually do something for yourself, that you want to do something that's way beyond, like, way beyond the idea of what you think you're not capable of doing, you have to think about that shit. So again, I always say it again, like in a position where just like you want to be a certain thing, then what are you going to do? Or what is your belief set to believe that you can do it? You got to believe in it. So if you believe in your stuff so much, again, I always say it. If you believe in yourself so much, in which it's now to a point where like you can care less what people think and say or do about you, then you'll be amazed of where your life is going to bring you towards. Whether you believe in law of attraction manifestation like me, or you believe in a God or God doing this for you, the thing is, it's the belief and going beyond what people are going to tell you. This is one of the things you realize. You'll probably notice here every time you come to my podcast, I kind of say the same shit over and over and over. We're just like, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in what you're doing. You got to believe in your own stuff. Stop worrying about the noise that's going like this to your ear so many damn times. Because at the end of the day, is their stuff relevant? Is that the individual that's gonna make you progress? Now, if that's not the case, then ignore the shit out of it and keep on fucking going. Go towards the fear. Stop being comfortable. Because most of the stuff that's uncomfortable, yes. Even with life, how life sometimes throws you the most weirdest shit, and you just have to fucking deal with it. Like all this stuff that at the end of the day you run into is basically just to allow you to get more resilient and just get the fuck up. It's just like the same thing as like our meditation. Yes, I offer and share you all with my meditation because of the fact that it works great for me. I've been doing it for 15 years. I only share it to you all because of the fact that I know how great it's going to do. And at the end of the day, like, it's just like, if you want to be in a position where like you want to see yourself in a different light, you want to be more positive, you don't want to be in a sense where like you feel like you're trapped because you have to believe in what everyone's telling you to do, then change it. Yeah. That goes for everything. You want to be in a position where you're supported. You want to be with an individual that's going to support you. Why? Even if it's something like, let's say, if your partner does the most wildest shit ever, like it's the most wildest shit that you don't understand what it is, but they're so adamant and passionate about it. I mean, at the end of the day, like if this is the partner that you actually revere and love, then you're gonna support whatever the fuck it is. Like, then that's something you have, and if that's not the case, then you have to question, why the heck are you with that person? Why? Why are you going to be with an individual who's not going to believe in the stuff you're doing, and they just want you to hold on to you, or you're going to hold on to them? Unless you're fine with that. I mean, unless you're fine with that, then that's to each his own. That's up to you. Tiffany, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Nothing's going to stop you. But for me, as an individual who has goals, who has visions, even though it can be scary, I'll be honest with you. Like, this journey as being this entrepreneur I talk about here, like, yeah, it is scary shit sometimes. We're just like, oh my God, like the stuff I've taken ownership of doing, and it's just like, wow, this is what's going on. This is the stuff, like, people, there's a lot of stuff I don't share people, and there's a reason why I don't share, because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant why I will share stories of people. Just only share what you want to share. That's another thing. Share what you want to share. You don't have to share everything of your freaking life. But like, only share the stuff that's relevant to your content, my brand. Obviously, my content and brand is to inspire and motivate you, and hopefully the folks who are listening to me here on TikTok, you are giving me a follow. You're getting something out of this. I hope you are. I hope you, if me speaking English is a barrier, well, look behind me. I'm giving you every avenue for you to listen or read to understand what the heck I'm saying, because I truly want you all to succeed. I want you to see the shit that I see, where it's just like, yes, I can do this shit too. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you don't think you can do it, then you're going to be stuck with the same shit every day, unless you're comfortable with it. Unless you're comfortable doing the same stuff every day, unless you're comfortable being in the position you are, where maybe, like, if you're an individual, you feel like you're getting hurt all the time, but you keep on going back to being hurt all the time, well, shit. Then there should be any complaining about it, because you're putting your own self in that position. Bella, you finally made it here. Welcome in. How you doing? But yeah, if you don't put yourself in the position to succeed, then how the fuck do you think you're going to succeed? Seriously. 100%. Believe in yourself enough that you can do whatever you want. Be like me, where you can upload a podcast and realize, oh shit, I actually sound good. or if you do content where you want to sing your heart out and you're like, man, I really can sing. Yes, for me, honestly, yes. I'm still trying to get used to the thing of people saying, wow, Joe, you actually sing. And I'm like, okay, I sing. I think so. I mean, that's to each his own. We're just like, I mean, that's kind of why I keep on singing here, because people say like, yeah, Joe, you sing really good. Well, shoot, then I'm going to share that and showcase it to you. But like, I mean, always my bread and butter is always going to be this podcast thing where just like, I'm here to influence you some way, one way or another. Even the folks who have met me, who have recently collaborated with me. There's probably a reason why we met. Is maybe because of there's certain things that I share, or maybe there's things that you share that maybe I can get from you, or vice versa. It's a give and take of a relationship, or like, maybe you need this push from an individual like me, or whatever. You have amazing voice, brother. Thanks, bro. Bella, thank you for the popular. Appreciate you. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it, but like, that's the thing. Everyone, it's funny. It's even when I started this journey on TikTok, everyone has said the same shit. Like, Joe, you sound like a DJ. And I'm just like, nah. And you know what? I realized that, yes, I do sound great. I do sound like a DJ. I do sound amazing. Yes. Again, maybe why I sound so much better now because of the fact that I have all this equipment now. But like, again, I tell folks, you can start from nothing and just go with your phone and go live and just talk your ass off. Get to the point where you are confident enough to talk whatever the fuck you want, and then you are confident and you can say to your people like, yes, I can make a cat moo. Yes, you can. I'm trying to read that, Bella. Shit. You do. The way you talk, like, sheesh. That's what I'm saying. You have to have confidence in yourself. You don't have any confidence in anything the fuck you do, then how do you expect to succeed in life? How are you gonna believe in your own shit? And that's the type of confidence that you need to put in yourself, where you can believe in enough that where you can do whatever the fuck you want and no one's holding you down. Now, if you feel like someone is holding you down, then that's you. You're allowing yourself to allowing you yourself or allowing other people to hold you down when you really don't have to. And this is why, like, for example, like the same thing too, why, people who are stuck in their own ways and they're doing a task that takes 100 fucking steps, but for some odd reason, they're still doing it because they're so damn used to shit. Like, they're so damn to the 100 steps that they're not willing to change it, because if you change something out of it, then they get razzled and they're like, what do? I don't know what to do. And that's what I'm saying. The greatest enemy is yourself, 100%. That is truth to that. You're your own enemy. As cliche as that shit sounds, you are really your own enemy. You're the one that's preventing you from doing any of the stuff you're doing. You're the one leaving your stuff in draft. You're the one that's afraid to upload stuff anywhere because you're scared. You're the one that, if you're telling me that, you want to do this, you want to go live, you yourself are the only one that's preventing yourself to not press the button. You're too damn afraid of what people think. But I'm just telling you, get to a position you don't give a fuck what people think. Who gives a fuck what people think? Yes, people are always gonna hate you for what you do, or they're always gonna say something, even if you are like, I always think about my Esau girl. You're doing this for the kindness of your heart because you want to show people and believe that this shit is true. But there's always gonna be people who are just like, oh, you are this and that, you're in this and that. Who gives a fuck about them? Who cares? And it's even the same thing too. Yes, I'll be honest. Like, even the following people. Yes, I do get a lot of followers, but the same way, there's a lot of people who won't follow me. Do I give a shit? No. Because, like, yes, I may lose 50 people in one day, but the same day, at the same time, another 50 will come in who actually will love my shit. And that's what the position you have to get into yourself. Now, you need to find those type of people. You need to find those individuals who actually want to listen to your stuff. They actually believe in what you're saying. They actually want to be successful. And they look up to you to say yes. Joanna, thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate you. They actually look up to you and say, yes, I want to be like Joe Lobo. He has a podcast. He's doing his thing. He's eventually going to be not only on TikTok, but he might be on YT as well at the same time. Well, what the fuck are you going to do? Are you going to do something or not? And again, you don't need all this equipment I have. You can start from your phone here, especially on TikTok. TikTok is basically made off of your phone, where you can go live on your phone. So yeah, start there and then save and build. Maybe some way, somehow, you are blessed enough that people will actually bless you to do and get you the equipment. Yes, there is a lot of people in here who are blessed hugely by people. And What is? Oh, thank you. I got confused, Bella. I said that. Thank you for the welcome, see. I appreciate you, Bella. But just like there's a lot of people who are blessed huge. I saw one of the people's lives earlier where they had PK and they got blessed huge, tremendously huge. Where like the number they got in the PK battle was like, holy shit, that's a lot. So yes, but it comes down to what it comes down to is what are you gonna say? What are you gonna do to get yourself into that position? There's always there. You have to find a way to get there. What the fork? Yeah. And again, you can agree to disagree with what I'm gonna say. If you can tell me in under your breath while you're listening to me in FYP or listening to my podcast in the platforms I talked about many times, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, that you're full of shit. Well, you're still listening to me. You're still here. I must be rubbing off you a little bit. If you know what I mean. Switching phones and headphones. I'm actually going to end soon, Bella. I got to wake up early tomorrow. But yeah. I mean, this is where, like, you know, for example, I know I have to wake up at 7 o'clock tomorrow. I got to take care of some family stuff. You know what I mean? But again, again, Bella, I tell everyone else, just because I'm getting off, just because I'm getting off soon, you can always check my podcast, Joe Lobo Presents. I'm going to advertise my ass off. Joe Lobo Presents, the authentic podcast. We're available on Spotify, both on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you're in a position where like, damn, I want to listen to all Joe's content, but he's not here, then I'm giving you an opportunity to do it. It's whether or not you want to do it or not. Whether you're not, it's up to you. It's your choice. You can follow me or not follow me. It's all good. It's like same thing here. You can choose to follow me. You can choose to follow me here and then just like love my content, or you can just be like many individuals, and it's fine with me. Like it's amazing sometimes where I can see like, you know, like one point people will follow me and then I'll lose the same amount and go back to my regular numbers a couple days later. It's what it is. Really what it is, you know? So anyway, I hope this, like, you know, I can agree. I can advertise your podcast also, bro. And I get can I have an autograph? Of course, brother. Speaking of you, like you're the one, like all your pictures on your like jumping new backflips on your bike, bro. Like I want to be like you. Just kidding. But anyway, like again, I hope this is like for the people who are listening to my stuff, whether you are on those platforms I mentioned multiple times, or here on TikTok, or maybe eventually down the road when we get to a position that, you know, we can multi do this on other platforms. Why just on here, that you realize that you are more than capable to do the same shit I'm doing. And I'm just here to inspire you to think outside the box, to believe that you can more than capable to do whatever the fuck you want. You just got to believe in it. Just like you have to believe in yourself. Like, what's the purpose of doing anything if you don't believe in it? If you can't believe in any of the stuff you're doing, then why do you do it? Why put your effort in if you're never going to put yourself out there? It's the same thing as like, you know, individuals who want to do podcasts and whatnot, but like they haven't even posted their stuff. They haven't finished editing the stuff. So you know what ends up happening is like life takes control and you totally forget about that. Tito, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Or for example, you know, you totally forget about what you're posting about and you just move on with life. Come on, bro. I'm just a stalker and they said, I know. I don't know, man. I'm curious whether people, life is too short. It is too short. And this is where it's like, you know, even my shit, as much as like people misunderstand me of what I do and why I do it and how I act, even if it seems like I'm blunt, I just don't like, and in my like outside of here, like I just don't like wasting time and just fluffing stuff. I really don't. I want to get straight to the point. Like it's I feel like I can put my energy somewhere else. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like even if it's just, I mentioned I was talking to, like, you know, I had a meeting with the new caregiver we're having, and I told her my expectations because it's starting Monday. She's on her own, doing her own thing. She has to take responsibility. I told her, like, you should be a position where I don't have to tell you shit. You should already know what to do. Now, if you get to a position where like, and this is the thing, we can take a step back. It's just like giving you ownership of your role, your job, your task. Like if you can't take control of or ownership of it, then that's gonna be an issue. And this is where it goes back again. Like everything I always say, it's just like how I've taken I told you about my journey in psychology when I was going to college in psychology. Like it's the same shit here, where I always say the same stuff over and over and over because of the fact that it's all it's all not circular. It's all like it always goes back. It always goes like this, where like the way I will explain something will always lead to the point where it's just like, okay, what are you gonna do about it? And that's what it comes down to. What are you gonna do about it? So anyway, I need to end this again because I have to wake up early tomorrow, but I do appreciate the folks who are here vibing me and chilling me. Thanks for the many people who came and stopped by. Appreciate the people who came in, sent me gifts. Shouts out to Mommy Shar, shouts out to Bella. I appreciate you. Thanks for my guy Kev, who's been hanging out the whole time, agreeing with everything I'm doing. And it's all truth. At the end of the day, I'm not doing this for myself. Yes, I am doing myself in the way where I'm working to inspire you. So I always go with the tagline. It's not about me, it's about you. It's about what you're going to do. How are you going to inspire other people to do the same shit you're going to do? How are you going to get people to follow you and do the same shit and be inspired off of you? This is what it's always been about. Like, if you lead with this content creation thing monetarily, I'm just looking at LPs. If you're looking at this position where you want to just succeed because you want this and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're looking, again, I have to explain because you can't see me. Sometimes I think, especially in Apple Podcasts, you can't see me on video. But if you're going to a position where you're looking at this as money first, you're going to fucking fail. I'm always a firm believer. I'm going to leave you off with this. Leave off with your passion. Leave off what you believe in. And you'll be surprised how far it's going to go. And then money will always follow your passion. That is 100% fact. And maybe some people can be blessed and they can just sit in a chair and just look at you, and the people will say, wow, here you go, here's a TikTok universe. But at the end of the day, what's going to be more value for you is just like if you can actually get to a position where you're influencing and inspiring many people to do some amazing stuff. And that's where my stuff is, where I go through this effort of showing you and translating this into Tagalog so you can understand what the heck I'm saying. Or like the people who are picking this up and subscribing to me on my other platforms, we're just like, yes, I can do this shit too, because you can. You can. So anyway, it's been an honor and pleasure to talk to you guys again. Again, my month is going to be hectic, so I don't know how consistent we're going to be, but we'll make time somehow, some way to do podcasts like this. But again, I do appreciate the folks coming in and vibing with me. It's been always an honor and pleasure to talk to you guys. I don't do this for me. Yes, I do this. Maybe I do this for me because it's kind of a way for me to leave my stress as well. Or I can spit knowledge and say knowledge to you and how you yourself can believe in it. Because I'm just a human just like you. I have my own situations to deal with as well. But I can at least tell you what works for me, and maybe somehow, some way, it can inspire you to maybe believe. It can maybe inspire you to take that step forward, and maybe it'll inspire you to say, "F you, Joe. I'm gonna go somewhere else and do my own thing." But it inspires you to do something. But that's what I'm trying to get at. So it's an honor and pleasure to talk to you guys. Again, make sure you follow me, and if you want to catch all my other podcasts, we're almost at 40 podcasts total since before I started this in late July. We're almost at 40 podcasts that are available right now. There's -3. I would have been already at 40 plus, but because of copyright, it didn't happen. This will probably be available tomorrow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts tomorrow. But I think for the most part, make sure you give me a follow there. You can actually go into my TikTok channel right now and click the link, and it'll get you to, if you have an iPhone or Apple something, you can just click the link and it'll bring you to my Apple Podcast. Give me a subscription. Or if you're a Spotify person, just go to Spotify, Google search me. You actually can Google search me right now and say, Joe Lobo presents, the Authentic Podcast, and it will easily bring up my thing from Spotify. I already tried it multiple times and it works. Again, you guys have a great and wonderful night. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys and give me my release some way, somehow, to make me feel miles better. I want to say good night to you, good evening to you, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'll talk to you guys next time. Maybe I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll see. I'm kind of busy tomorrow, but we'll see. You guys take care. You guys have a great one. Keep moving forward. Don't let people tell you you can't do anything. You are more than capable to do whatever the fuck you want. You guys take care.